Oh, hey, welcome to my nephew's little house. Come on over. What you cooking, chef? Just wanted to show you guys that I'm doing some important family business over here, huh? Right. So I don't know what kind of grade this will get us, but if we don't get a good grade, that means he probably doesn't like you, right? Anyways, let's talk about cost, the difference between cost versus willingness to pay, and let's go farming. All right, so one of the examples that we have here is John Deere tractors. And what they take pride in is their quality of their machine and then the quality of the service that they provide after you buy the machine. And so because of this, it's a differentiation strategy, and customers are willing to pay more for these products. They also have kind of a competitive advantage, if you will, for innovation above other competitors. So let's take a look inside of it. Okay, so some of the stuff that we got over here controls, obviously park, forward 2, neutral, reverse, a whole bunch of different options for equipment attachments, and you got a big screen over here that can do a lot more. I didn't want to turn on the tractor just because it's way too loud and you guys won't hear me. But this is probably about a 2015 tractor, and so this is kind of outdated. If you see any of the 2021s, it's crazy what they can do. These tractors alone, they sit low, and then when you start it up, the shocks will take it up. And so there's just innovative things like that that John Deere does that customers are willing to pay a lot more for. Okay, so we talked about John Deere, and then keeping along the same lines of agriculture, let's talk about hay. It's not a brand, but it's a commodity. Everybody needs it, for whether it be for animals, bedding, whatever. But why I wanted to bring it up was because the cost is somewhat stable. It doesn't really fluctuate too much. And then the willingness to pay, that goes up and down every year, but it about stays the same. And so there's really no way that you can provide something that's just that much better than anybody else to where you'll get more and drive the cost down and the willingness to pay up. And so I just wanted to represent that too on the other spectrum, where you can't do that as well as John Deere does with their products. So. I swear I'm doing important stuff here. Let's talk about the cost versus willingness to pay. So the important things that I pulled out from the text was it's difficult to widen the gap between the cost of the product and service and the willingness to pay, because the business has to incur higher costs in order to deliver that service or product that the customer is willing to pay for. And so an example of a company that is doing that and doing very well at it is Apple. Apple is, I mean, everybody gives them a tough time because, they aren't really doing much with their iPhones, yet everybody's willing to pay thousands of dollars right when it comes out. And so they're crushing it in the aspect of creating a superior product for less and having customers pay a lot more for it. They also are doing very well in complementary products where they aren't charging customers for these products, but then the sellers are paying them to basically advertise or market those things. And so it's kind of a dual competitive advantage for them. The other things that I wanted to talk about was the differentiation strategy. It raises the willingness to pay a great deal with only slight increases in cost. And then the other one was low cost strategy, which is you reap large cost savings with only slight decreases in customer willingness to pay. And so those were kind of the key things to take out Okay, now I have an activity for you guys, so can everybody stand up and then pause me, and when everybody stands up, then play me again. Yeah, I didn't have an activity for you guys, but I have a funny example, and here it is. So here's a funny example of how my uncle was willing to pay for a small Komatsu loader, seen here in the video. For the sellers, the cost was definitely low, and here's why. This is what he actually got. Good thing he only paid 65 bucks for it. And at 65 bucks, she probably should have known that it wasn't going to be a small rideable loader.